What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a blessed week. As you see, the playoff beard is gone. Sad times. But we're going to go ahead and just take a little quick review of the 2019 season, as well as look forward to the 2020 season, and of course, get into the latest Niner news. But before we get started today, you can, of course, find this podcast available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, Castbox, anywhere you can find podcasts. Please, as always, rate, review, and subscribe. Second of all, you can go ahead and visit www.ninerfaithfulradio.com to get our blogs from Nothing But Niners and Sports Elite, as well as our amazing, talented writers that we have available now at ninerfaithfulradio.com, putting out that great content for y'all. Go ahead and actually go to the website. We have all our latest blogs available now, as well as all our advertising and sponsorship packages. And, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, comment on what you thought of the show, or, of course, any questions that you have. And, of course, visit ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop for all your officially licensed Niner gear from shop49ers.com, NFLshop.com, Target.com, Fanatics.com, eBay, and much more, as well as official, like a referee with the whistle that didn't. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. Niner Faithful Radio merchandise. We have T-shirts. We're working on getting more hats, beanies, hoodies, all that good stuff. Okay, so I think it is most important. Hey, what's up, Jamie? How you doing, love? Good to see you. Jamie says, hey, how you doing? I love putting the little highlight comments on the thing now. That's so cool. I'm so happy I found out that I could do that. Okay, so I thought we would go ahead and start out with the latest news. It hasn't officially been announced by the team, but I'm seeing multi-sources report it that we have hired our new DBs coach. I'm not going to get into anything real Pacific because Pacific is the ocean I kind of live by. It's like 45 minutes away. But we're going to go ahead and get that as soon as it's announced by the team. Quan Alexander restructured his contract. Basically, coming up as soon as this is available as a podcast, we'll have an article breaking down our salary cap. I can't speak today. Salary cap situation that is going on right now with the team. But basically, we saved a little less than $9 million with Quan Alexander, and it was like 4.55 with Weston Richburg reconstructing their deals. So if I actually could pull it up right now, I don't know why it's not working. That puts us in John Lynch described our cap situation when he and Kyle Shanahan did their end of the season press conference during last week. He basically said that, he wouldn't categorize their situation as bleak, but, there are some players that they have to let go. I went ahead and released. I honestly don't even want to get into last week's poll. Um, you know, I'm pretty much over it. I don't even really want to discuss it. But this week's poll I went ahead and already is out, available on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and put it out on Twitter as soon as we're done recording this podcast. But the question is, who do you think is a bigger priority in free agency? Obviously, everybody's going to put Eric Armstead on the list. We officially have the key dates of the 2020 offseason. And so, just to pretty much go over some that I think will be pretty important to the Niners. If the article would load. So coming up pretty soon, I mean, in 13 days. So 2 weeks from yesterday. But yeah, 2 weeks from yesterday, we'll have the scouting combine at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. The next day, February 21st, would be the first day for clubs to designate franchise or transition players. Just to stop right there for a second and explain how I think that relates to the Niners is I would anticipate the Niners franchising Eric Armstead. There's a date that we'll get into here in a little bit that is the end that you can no longer negotiate multi-year extensions for franchise tag players. So I would anticipate that the deal actually probably wouldn't get worked out if any deal is done. I would assume it wouldn't be done until the next, but close to that deadline. I mean, I don't think it's going to get done within the next couple of days type of thing. So I would assume the Niners would place the franchise tag on Eric Armstead that day. Essentially, let me go ahead and look this up. I should have done this. 2020 franchise tag numbers. How many times for transition tenders over the cap? Okay, so hopefully this will give me an idea on let me see. See, it also depends on if he's in a 3-4D and 3D4 average year 21, 2018. So it's going to be we saved between Quan Alexander and Weston Richburg's contracts. Of course, in this article is more detail about, I don't want to give too much away, and still the Thunder, but it's obviously some, we all assume Marquise Goodwin is no longer going to be on the Niners, and they'll go ahead and cut him. And I believe it's something like $4 or $5 million that the Niners would save in cap space. So I would say that Eric Armstead's clearly our top priority. I'm not going to go ahead and bore y'all with every single date, but March 10th, prior to 1 p.m. deadline for clubs to designate their franchise or transition players. So between the 20, so that's basically for that 2-week period, I would assume the Niners would franchise tag Eric Armstead. Obviously, the number one priority this offseason is an extension for George Kittle, which is going to get done. I mean, George Kittle is not entering free agency. That's not happening. He's going to be a Niner for a very, very long time. Defoe, we still have his, of course, this would be his fifth-year option that he's playing on. And so you have the ability to restructure, of course, franchise him next year. But John Lynch had said that he wants Eric Armstead to be a Niner for a long, long time. So, I'm curious. I mean, let's be realistic here. We can't re-sign everybody. And so, to me, Eric Armstead, fine. You want to make Eric Armstead a priority, even if it's just a franchise tag to say, hey, look, we need more time to replace him and to develop a replacement on the roster. That's fine. Maybe next year you're going to be releasing some players that will no longer be on the books. And, there might be, of course, you got the up-and-coming potential lockout with the CBA set to expire after the 2020 season. So you don't know what the salary cap situation will look like that. And I don't know if the Niners at all, if avoidable, want to have as many crazy contracts that they got to redo because of the new salary cap. I think they want to avoid that headache as much as possible. So I don't want to be franchise tagging everybody year after year after year. But, of course, I think that it comes down to what the Twitter poll is to wrap that back up into it. It's who do you think is a bigger priority? Emmanuel Sanders or Jimmy Ward? And that's the poll question. And since I'm going ahead and announcing it, and it's already at least on Facebook, I'm gonna go ahead and say, go ahead and drop a comment on what you think, what your answer would be, Emmanuel Sanders. What's up, Jason? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. We're gonna go ahead and we'll highlight Jason's comment. Good to see you, sir. It's obviously, I know, Jason, we had a little bit of a discussion, or not even a discussion. He commented, I commented back. But we pretty much are of the agreement is I think Jimmy Ward's the bigger priority over Emmanuel Sanders. And I feel difficult to say that because I love Emmanuel Sanders. I think he really changed the dynamic of the wide receiver core this season, and we're not in the Super Bowl without him. I think that's very, very, very clear. I remember pretty much a lot of people were saying, look, Emmanuel Sanders makes us a real legit Super Bowl contender. And Jimmy wants him back. And, let's be of course, let's talk about Jamie's comment. That's really hard because I really don't know if Goodwin will be back. And if we lose him, Sanders is more important. But Ward played really well. And see, this is what my thinking is that playing devil advocate. I, of course, will come out straight up and I say I put the priority as Jimmy Ward. Now, I don't think that means they can't get both of them done. But as always, it's kind of up to the player. I think the Niners will offer him a contract. And, it might not be exactly what he wants. It might not be top dollar. I don't think besides George Kittle and DeForest Buckner, I don't see us giving top dollar to anybody. As far as I don't think if Emmanuel Sanders wanted us to get in a bidding war with somebody, I tip my cap to him and tell him good luck, sir. God bless. But so The way I'm looking at it is we have to sign Jimmy Ward. He played amazing this season. I mean, okay, maybe amazing is a bit of a stretch, but to think that he was, I mean, who are you going to get to replace him? Are you confident that there's somebody in the draft that's available right now that's going to come in and be as productive, if not more, than Jimmy Ward at probably one of the best and most important positions? I shouldn't say best, the most important position, one of the most important positions in our defense. I mean, you know, I don't remember too many times. The Niners didn't give up a lot of explosive plays, and that's honestly why it was such a shock and almost a perfect storm of situations that let us lose to the Super Bowl. We didn't give up big plays all year. Not that many. And it's quite honestly that's kind of what cost us the game. And so it's that didn't happen too often. And I think that's why is because Jimmy Ward didn't miss a tackle. And so if we gave up a 15-yard play, it was a 15-yard play. If we gave up a 20-yard play, it was a 20-yard play. You weren't seeing, hey, this is the 20-yard play and good play, whatever. You tip your cap to the offense, but it stopped now. Line up and do it again. And do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And that's really the core of what made our defense successful this year is that teams just couldn't do it more times than not. Hey, you can't. It's, hey, look, we're going to give up a little 10-yard play, a little 5-yard play, a little 6-yard play, whatever. But you're not going to be able to be that productive again and again and again. Jamie, that's true. I don't know. Ward is important too, but if we look good, Winston would be very thin at receiver, but we don't really have depth at safety. I would try him both. So this is essentially what I am thinking, and then we're going to kind of go ahead and move off of that because there's we don't really got much else to really cover. I mean, there's a couple of signings, but pretty much everybody was on the practice squad. So I think it's important to see this is the two questions that we're not seeing that I think will dictate what we do is how well is the development of Travarius Moore and is Sherm ready to move to free safety? I believe he can play free safety, but is he willing to make that move? And if you say Travarius Moore is ready to step in and be as good as Jimmy Ward, then okay, fine. I'll re-sign Emmanuel Sanders if it comes down to it. Because of course, Jamie, I totally agree with you. There is a consequence of losing Marquise Goodwin and Emmanuel Sanders. That essentially, look, there's a reason why we traded for Emmanuel Sanders. We all know the reason is why we traded for Emmanuel Sanders. So to lose Emmanuel Sanders is going to be a blow because that's essentially makes our receiving core what it was pre the trade for Emmanuel Sanders, which is obviously Shanahan felt below average since he went ahead and made a trade to get Emmanuel Sanders. Now, I think that the Niners can't be, look, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but the Niners can't be banking on improvement and progress from Dante Pettis. The Niners can't depend on a healthy Trent Taylor. At this point, He's not going to get cut, but can you depend on a healthy Jalen Hurts? I mean, if we feel that, of course, this is before we lose anybody, and you know what it is. So we don't know exactly. These things, of course, have a way of working. Obviously, will work themselves out, but it's a difficult position to be in. But this is a great draft for receiver, and I understand that's 3 years in a row that basically, essentially, every year that Shanahan's been here, except the first one, every year we took receivers. And, you know, you would hope that that would stop being a need and that we would be able to sustain it without having to go and draft receivers every year. Now, yes, that could turn it into an asset, i.e. with our defensive line and all the years we took the D-line with our first-round pick, which, you know, we didn't take one with the first-round pick, but I don't think Shanahan really wants to pick a first-round receiver. So it's Jimmy wants him back. And look, say what you want, you know, and this will be the last time I mention, but I think what's not getting talked about a lot is the possibility, look, Jimmy might have been concussed. Because on that 3rd and down, when we've all seen the pictures, it's no debate about it. That was a hit to the head with the helmet. I clearly, distinctly remember Jimmy grabbing his head. And I remember looking at the person who I was watching the game with. But, okay, Jamie, of course, comment, well, hi, I agree. If Dante had a strong feeling, I feel better. But whatever we do in free agent will dictate the draft. We'll go. But we'll be also limited on draft picks. Yeah, exactly. And so, we got to wrap it up. And but yeah, so just to give a last thought on this is that we'll see where we're at. But yeah, Jamie, I want to go ahead and say I agree with you, love, that yeah, we are limited, so we can't be spending a million picks on receivers. I shall see y'all next week. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.